Let's take a look at prices first. Many of you want the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index as both the 10 and 20 city composite. You use that for some of the information that you go ahead and bring out to your consumer. That's there for you. We also did a graph of it, and I want you to take a look at that red arrow. Prices are way up over last year. They're still up over 10%. But let's take a look at what's taken place since before the beginning of the year. Price appreciation, though the appreciation is still there, the amount of depreciation is decelerating. Meaning that we were up over 12% year over year, and now we're just over 10%. I think that's going to continue, meaning that prices are going to get more and more like they were last year as we move forward. We're not going to see that double-digit appreciation as a nation, and we probably will go down to small single-digit numbers. And when that's taking place, some people are going to make that negative news. Let's make sure we know how to explain that. I put together another slide for the impact of monthly housing inventory on home prices. What we have to take a look at, ladies and gentlemen, is the pricing of a home is the same thing as the pricing of anything. It's based on supply and demand. How much of that item is available, and how many people out there actually want to purchase that item. If you have less than 6 months inventory, that means there are not enough houses out there to satisfy or quench the thirst of the number of buyers out there. That means the buyers fight over the houses that are available. How do they fight? By price. That causes prices to appreciate. So anything less than 6 months inventory, prices will continue to go up. Between 6 and 7 months inventory, you're pretty much in a neutral market, meaning the amount of houses for sale and the amount of buyers that are out there kind of negate each other. It's neutral. The home prices will still appreciate, but just by the level of inflation, not because of, market conditions. Now, if you have greater than 7 months, which we had back in 2008, 2009, 2010, that means that there were enough buyers out there that quenched the thirst of the number of homeowners that wanted to sell their home. Well, those sellers had to fight over those buyers. How did the sellers fight? The same way, by price. They kept on lowering the price. Anything greater than 7 months, you're in a buyer's market. Home prices will depreciate as the sellers fight over those buyers, again, by lowering the price. So now let's take a look at months inventory. As you can see, going all the way back over the last couple of years, we had, at the beginning, back in 2009, 2010, 2011, prices were, the inventory, I should say, was well over 7 months, and prices were down. But then, coming into January of 2012, we can see that what took place is inventory dropped dramatically. And prices started to go up. Once it dropped less than 6 months, and January of last year, we almost got it down to 4 months, prices were accelerating very rapidly. But let's take a look at all the way to the right. What are we doing now? We're getting a little bit closer to that 6-month neutral number. Let's make that a little bit easier to see by just breaking it down over the last 2 years. What we're seeing now is we're getting closer and closer to a normal neutral market. Now, when we're talking to a seller, we want to let them know that we're getting more and more inventory, more and more sellers are attaining positive equity so they can go ahead and get their houses on the market. More and more people are realizing that now's the time to buy before interest rates go up and prices go up anymore. So there's more and more inventory coming to the market. We can see that in this graph right here. Also let the sellers know the next thing that's going to happen is going to be builders building more and more new homes. Here are new home sales going all the way back to 2004. We can see they cratered in 2008 and stayed very, very low compared to where they were even prior to the boom, all the way back in 2004. This graph will slowly start to tick up again on the right-hand side. And every one of those new home sales will be competition to any existing home sale that you're thinking about listing right now. If we take a look from our friends at CalculatedRiskBlog.com, they look at 2014 versus 2013. And we can see that after January, as the weather again got a little bit funky, 2013 was ahead of 2014 as number of new home sales. But in May, the last month registered, all of a sudden 2014 beat out last year. I think we're going to see that as we proceed through the year. There's going to be more and more new construction. And that's going to be great for us, and I'll tell you why in a second. But for the consumer, for the seller who's thinking about selling, remember that new home construction, which has not been a competitor of theirs for the last several years in any big way, will again start to be a competitor. Maybe now's the time to get the house on the market. But with the new construction itself, a study just came out showing that 67% of all the new home sales, the purchases are brought to the builder by real estate agents. It's going to be different than it was in the past, ladies and gentlemen, at least for the near future. They're going to depend on us to bring the purchases to them. That's another window of opportunity, especially in some markets, and you would know your market better than I. If you're in a market where there are more and more builders all of a sudden starting developments, build relationships. They're much more prone today to build that relationship than they were 10 years ago. They don't want to get into those big marketing programs. They don't want to get into, having staff there selling the house. They realize that we can help them with that. Let's jump in and build as many relationships as we possibly can on that side.